Okay. Sounds
All right, hey
good.
everyone. We're live with. She just told me how to say it. Breana.
Brianna.
Breana. That I know. All right, sorry. I just asked her too. Breana. How you doing, Breana?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right, so you got a hold of me through email. You're writing a paper for your master's, so why don't you just tell us about that?
Yeah. So I go to the University of Montevallo. It's a small school, about 45 minutes from Birmingham. I went there for my undergraduate, and when COVID hit, they weren't taking the GRE. So I figured this was a prime time to go. Um, so I am finishing up. I graduated in May. Thank the Lord. It's been a long 2 years.
Right.
Um, So I have to build a business plan for my capstone project. And my my intention is for an event rental supply company. Um, I've been looking at local ones around the city. They're not local. They're ones that have multiple locations in different states.
Okay.
Um, so my idea is to be a local place. Um, for those consumers so they don't have to go call an 800 number and then find out what state they're in and all that good stuff.
Right. Why don't you tell everyone, like, tell me where you're located because that kind of helps with kind of market analysis.
Yep. So I am about 20 minutes from Birmingham. If you look on the map, Birmingham and Montgomery, we're right in the middle.
Okay, so two big cities to either side.
Yeah. The school at
Okay.
Montevallo, there's a star that marks the center of the state. It's actually at Montevallo. So we're pretty close to right in the middle.
Okay, cool. So you got big population densities near you. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you sent me some questions. So why don't we get right into that? And then everyone
Yeah.
who's viewing, go ahead and write your answers as well, so that she can use whatever she needs from our conversations for her capstone.
Yeah. Okay. So the first question is, how much would you consider to be a good startup for funding?
Okay, well, I got some follow-up questions for that in order to
Okay.
answer it. What do you want to do? Do you want to
I'm
do? Go
I'm
ahead.
thinking tables, chairs, and tablecloths.
Okay, so not getting into tents just yet.
Not yet. Mm-mm.
Okay, and are you trying to service the just kind of backyard party, or are you trying to service the wedding and fancier crowd?
I think backyard is a good start, and projected long term weddings and all that good stuff. But to start, probably backyards and events like that.
Okay, and do you want to be working like as much as you can right off the bat, or slowly get into it?
Slowly get into it.
Okay, then I would say something maybe around $10,000 to $12,000, just because the price of the chairs has gone up quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So to get 100 of them is close to $3,000, I think. Now.
Okay.
And then so if you get 20 tables times 20 by 8, because you got eight chairs per table.
Mm-hmm.
I should have had a calculator here with me, but
is it 1,600?
Yeah. Well, no, okay. Well, let's see. 20.
160.
160. There we go. All right. So 20 tables and maybe 200 chairs, something like that.
And that was one of the questions. 20 tables. And
yeah, so 200 chairs is going to be just around $7,000. And then the rest in tables.
So is it like those are the basic chairs?
Yeah, basic chairs. They're all the same price, but you can get them different colors. Like you can white, brown, black, blue. Just the basic kind of chair that stacks 50 high, so you can just store it in a storage area or your garage or a shed or whatever. Mm-hmm. I would go with white, so that you can just do basic backyards, and then you can also do budget conscious weddings.
Yeah, brides want your chairs. I remember I got married. When did I get married? 2020.
Okay.
So we were supposed to get married on April 4th. The world shut down March 15th. So
Right.
that was fun times. But I do remember chairs because the one venue we wanted, the chairs had the armrests and they
Yeah.
were ugly chairs. So for sure, brides. I was specific about my chairs. Oh my God, I
Right.
remember.
Did you rent chairs or did you get chair covers or?
They came with we went with another venue and they had Chivari chairs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we used those.
Yeah, as you get in this business, you will know exactly how to spell that and say it every time. So we do have a comment here: buy used chairs. Which yes, if you can find them, definitely.
Okay.
Call up everyone in your area and see if they're getting rid of any. The only problem with used chairs is generally, they're getting rid of them for a reason.
Right.
Then there's auctions, and it's not easy to find the auctions. You got to do quite a bit of Google searching to find out if there's any. You can also join like the Facebook groups for party rental stuff. Have you joined any of those yet?
I have not. I didn't even think about that.
Okay, there's like 4 or 5 big ones, and everyone on there answers questions. There's one called Event Rental Classifieds where that's specifically for selling things and buying things. So you go on there and be like, hey, just starting out. I'm in Alabama. Anyone got any chairs?
That's helpful. Good stuff.
Right.
Good stuff. I think I saw in your video that you invested 20,000. Is that what?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I just maxed out credit cards and bought 3/10.
Okay.
But when I really got into weddings, I took out a $20,000 loan from the place I was working to get the tent, the chairs, enough round tables for that, and dance floor. But I bought the dance floor used. I got a really great deal on it. Otherwise, the dance floor would have been half or 2/3 my budget if I didn't find it used.
Yeah. How long did it take? So did you work your 9 to 5 and then transition into it? What was your?
Yeah. I find that's what a lot of people do, like as a side hustle, side business.
Mm-hmm.
You set up or deliver on Friday and then go take down on Sunday. So you can be back to work on Monday. And then at some point, it's just like you just start making more than your job.
Right.
Or you can see that coming, and then so you feel confident leaving.
That makes sense. So what was your initial goal? Was it one event a month? How'd you?
I don't know. I was 22. I saw my friends worked in a company, and I worked at a company over the summer before I graduated. I just saw the price tags, and I was like, "Wow, I can do this." I was never planning on having a business or anything, but my goal then, at least, was I had 3/10. I wanted all 3 out every weekend, and that's still the goal, to have every tent out every weekend.
That's a good goal because they're making money. They can't make money inside the facility.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of expenses? What kind of expenses do you have at the beginning, and how did that change over time?
So at the beginning, it was me and just like a friend who I paid. So there was no like workers' comp. There was no insurance, which everyone's going to tell you have insurance. I'm going to be the voice of reason. A lot of times people start out without insurance and then they get it as they need it. And if you're just doing tables and chairs, as long as you know that the tables and chairs are good, you should be fine. But then I'm going to say, just to cover myself, you should have insurance. But so wait, repeat the question. I just started.
Expenses.
Oh yeah,
over time.
So my friend, paying him, I paid them hourly. I didn't like pay them by the job. Then obviously buying stuff. I just kept putting money back in, buying stuff, so that the next payday was bigger and bigger. I could handle more things. And then it got to the point where I started my mom's SUV, so then I got a pickup truck, and then the pickup truck could only handle so much. So I got a trailer, and then I had to start renting a box truck. and I would pick it up the morning I needed it and bring it back to try to save money. So in the beginning, it's a lot of transportation cost.
Yeah.
Then as you keep growing and growing, the employees become more of a cost because now in order to get some of the big jobs I wanted, I needed to show that I had workers' comp.
Mm.
So I put people on payroll. I got workers' comp. I ended up getting real insurance for everything. And then transportation costs is still a big thing. Most rental companies, large rental companies, don't own every single one of their trucks
Right.
because in the off season, there's no reason to have. I think my friend rents 26 trucks a summer. He owns one. There's no reason to have 26 trucks.
Right.
So in the summer, he rents 25 more trucks.
Okay.
And then I didn't really face this in the beginning because we had a decent sized garage. So storage, as you get larger, I lucked out and found this really rundown warehouse where we just sectioned off a piece for me. It wasn't like, it looked like a horror movie kind of place. Like people won't want to go there, but it kept everything dry. But that's going to be a significant cost as you go on as storage.
Okay.
And then everyone's saying gas. And
yes,
I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend. She's like, "Oh my God, gas is so high." I'm like, I remember when I first started, one of the first years I started renting a truck, diesel was $4.25, and it's never been there since. So until it gets above $4.25, I don't think gas is expensive. Now diesel's like $4.85, so yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, my car takes premium, so I was telling my supervisor today. I said, Costco is my friend because it has the cheapest gas prices. Costco and Sam's. So what were some surprise expenses that you weren't expecting?
Sales tax.
I feel that.
You gotta either put it away that week, or you gotta know that you're gonna be able to pay it. And you have to understand what kind of filer you are for your state. So it's certain thresholds. I believe many states are the same, but if you collect in New York State, if you collect more than $3,000 in sales tax in a quarter, you have to start filing quarterly. I was only filing yearly, so at the end of the year, my accountant, my CPA was like, "Yeah, you're gonna get hit with a little bit." Yeah. So that was an expense. Usually just mistakes were expenses. Like the way I was paying a contractor, I got in trouble for, they kind of considered him more of an employee. So then I got fined for that. The sales tax issue, shipping, we're on gas. So you're looking up prices, you're talking to people, and you're like, "Oh, I got $3,000. I can get 100 chairs." And then it's like $1,000 delivery for shipping freight. And you're like, fuck. And then, so you always keep that in mind. The amount of time to clean things, that sucks. Like it takes us like 40 hours a week, 6 guys, 40 hours a week to clean every chair in my warehouse. So we don't clean after every job, we just clean as needed, but keeping stuff clean is important.
Yeah, so it's always ready to go. So do you like clean right after the event, or is it a kind of
we clean
activity?
We clean as needed.
Okay.
We'll just look at the chairs when we pick them up. Tables you don't really have to clean often. But yeah, it's way too long. My friend he's probably got like 30,000-40,000 chairs. He said he'd rather discount a customer who calls being mad than have 5 people at his warehouse that he pays 40 hours a week to clean every chair. It's more cost effective just to be like, "I'm sorry that we missed them. We'll give you half off on the chairs."
That makes sense.
So why don't you want to do tents?
I haven't thought about tents yet. Honestly.
Okay, because usually a backyard party that goes with it. You are in an area I'm unfamiliar with, though, so I'll just look at your competition and see if they have tents. Because it's much better to get the tent, tables, and chairs out.
All from one place.
Yeah, there's several people saying that here.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they need a tent, they're going to go with the company who has the tent because they're also going to have the tables and chairs. The only way they're going to go with you if they're getting a tent is if the other company doesn't have a tent, and you're going to have to wait like almost till the week before the event when people are trying to call up places and be like, I'm having a party and da, da, da. Oh, I have to get a tent from here and tables and chairs. They'll have to piece together things.
Okay, that makes sense.
So now you're looking more like 20 to 22,000 to get started.
Okay. With tips. Okay. Yes, that. So what does your supply look like now? With tables and chairs, like how many tables, how many chairs, how many tents do you have?
We got about 30 tents, maybe 300 tables, maybe 2,000 chairs. Yeah, and then a lot of stuff in between. And I'm not really counting fancy tables and fancy chairs in those numbers at all. That's just kind of basic stuff. But here's the thing. So a lot of people in this industry ask how many tents you got, how many bounce houses you got, how many whatever. And I found that that's not a real good indicator because I don't think I really have that many tents, but I can make a lot more money than other people can. It's not always the quantity. It's your prices. It's how fast you can get things done. And it's a lot of times it's like the high-end items that go under it.
Mm-hmm.
But
so with like the fancy stuff, so it's like the serpentine tables and
yeah, so
boys.
farm tables, the Shivari chairs, the fruitwood chairs, which looks like a normal wedding chair, but it's a wooden chair. You know, the dishes, the catering stuff. Yeah, fancy stuff is like further down the line. If you're starting to maximize what you're getting out currently, and you get people calling for that kind of stuff, then yeah. Or you may find as you're going along that you just like the fancy stuff, so you entirely take your company to the fancy side only. There's a guy, I don't know if he's watching, PR Rentals. His company is entirely fancy. He's getting like $3 to, I think one of his glasses, I think he was doing for $15 for this certain glass. And he's got like fancy chairs. He doesn't even have Shivari chairs because his competition has Shivari chairs. He goes even more expensive than that. And he caters to only expensive events and doesn't even care about tents and basic chairs and stuff. So you can go that route as well. That's just like starting out. That's just kind of expensive to get into.
Yeah. Let's see. What were some things that what were things you're glad you knew, and what were things you are glad you learned? That was tough.
So I always kind of intrinsically knew this, and then someone told it to me. Well, I read it in a blog, but efficiency is key in any business. So like this is labor intensive, setting these tents up and transporting things. So I got dollies and hand carts as quickly as possible. I didn't get the best ones. I was poor. I bought Harbor Freight stuff, and then I had to like rebuy all that stuff in like good quality stuff. So
right.
I guess that's a lesson right there. I wish I knew the good quality stuff first, so I didn't buy junk and then basically just have to buy it again and just basically throw away the junk. This is then just a few years ago, this one big guy in the industry told me, he was like, we're not in the party business. A lot of people will say that you're in the party business because that's our end result. What we're really in is the moving and logistics, material handling and logistics business, figuring out how to get stuff from the warehouse to the truck to site, set it up efficiently with the tools that you've acquired, and then do the reverse. You're moving warehouse equipment around. So when you understand that, then you can start targeting things to be more efficient. because you could work 80 hours a week, busting your butt, buying more equipment, and just continue working, or you could become more efficient with what you already have. Now you're working less hours, taking more profit, and now you have more time that you could throw in 2 more tent setups a day, and still work 40 hours a week and make more money because everything's just going faster. So it's not always just get as much stuff as you can. It's get the tools to make you go faster.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Got it. So how long did it take you for a return on your investment?
Mm, I usually say it's like 1 year on any particular item. Like my first year with the 3 tents, I definitely made my money back. So kind of a unwritten rule is in this industry, you price things to get your rental back 10 times. So if a table is $100, you're going to price it at 10. It doesn't always work because for a long time, chairs were just $1.
Mm-hmm.
So you were buying them for 13, 14. So you weren't doing $1.30. You were just doing $1 because your competition is. But like on a lot of things, it's pretty close to 10 times you get your money back. Some things you can get your money back in like 2 times, like lights. Anything you do with lights, just try to get your money back in 2 rentals.
Okay. That's a good philosophy that I hadn't thought about. So how many employees do you have now?
I got 5 road crew and myself. That's 6 people. I got the office guy, so that's 6 people I employ.
Okay.
Then in the dish business, we'll count him as a half an employee because he's a partner, but he's not an employee. And then he has people that he comes in, and then restroom trailer, we got another guy. So at any given time in the summer, about 10.
Okay, and that they're all full time.
Seasonal. My
Okay.
office manager is the only one who is full time.
Okay. And what does the office manager's job entail?
He answers all phone calls. He does quotes. When people come for pickups and drop offs, he'll go into the back warehouse and get those ready for them. He handles difficult customers because I want to yell at people. So he's better with people. Yeah, so he's in the office handling all customer phone calls and emails. And I guess some office managers, I haven't really put this on him yet, but can handle he does keep track of receipts and sales so that I can run reports and stuff and whenever I need to and get them out to the accountant. But they can handle like everything basically. He doesn't handle logistics. I handle deliveries because I know where everything is.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't handle finances. He handle I don't buy anything anymore. Like tables and chairs and equipment, I'm in charge of that. But anything else we need a tool, we need office equipment, I just call him and say, Elliot, order this. Okay, bye. And then he finds where to get it.
Gotcha.
Office guy does everything Adam does not want to do. There's a few things I don't want to do that I still do, but
okay, so you mentioned the off season. So I guess what's the on season and what's the off season?
Okay, for me up in New York, it's summertime. That's when we're setting up the tents. I don't do tents in the winter. Some companies do. I hate it. You down more south, I don't know if it's going to be the reverse because it might be too hot. Like, do people have more outside events in the wintertime or the summer?
They have them in the summer, but like this week, yesterday it was about 75 degrees and today it was 40. So yeah, you never know what the day will bring.
Okay, so your season's going to be longer. I'm going to guess when's it start to get really warm? April?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when's it start to get too cold for you guys down there? November?
November, yeah.
Okay, so your season is extended. So that's good. You're going to have more time to make money.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like December. Off season is December through like March-ish.
Okay, we got a good comment here. Palmer Snyder's today found out the tables are 40% up, so he's charging $25 a rental. The old economics of 1/10 might be gone. So yeah, because prices have gone up, everything's gone up. $25, that's crazy. That is a crazy amount. But
$25 a table, like 20 tables, $5,000.
You're getting a master's. You're not good at math. You're worse than me.
That wasn't right.
20 times 25, 500. You add a zero to everything.
I do add a zero to everything.
Man, don't show this portion, the two math things, to your professor. Edit this stuff if you're using it.
It would be bad. It would
I'm just
be
kidding.
bad. I took calculus like 3 times. So.
Oh really? Okay.
It's not my.
I dropped. Well, it's too late for me to drop, so I was still in calculus, business calc. And so you go to the final at the end, and it's like 10 questions, whole page.
Mm-hmm.
I just memorized 10 math jokes, like why was 6 afraid of 7, because 7, 8, 9. And then at the end of it, I just wrote, hey, listen, I changed my major, but it was too late to, drop this. Can I at least get a C in here? So she gave me a C, but that's how I got through calculus.
Gotta love it. I don't know who likes calculus. I don't know. Not my calling.
There's some people. We got a comment here. First year, he did 100,000.
Okay.
Your radius. So if you weren't here in the beginning, she's between 2 big cities, Birmingham and the other one,
Montgomery.
Okay, so she has a big population, which is good. That is really good.
And I think I saw your video that mentioned the delivery charges, and I wrote it down somewhere.
Yes. Well, I just told the office guy today, raise that. We're raising that because gas is going crazy. We don't know. It may go down by summertime, but by then we'll adjust it back down or whatever.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, we got what a tip one. So this is going to be important for you too. Where do you get general liability insurance and workers' comp?
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, so it is really hard for you to type in and be like, Google party rental insurance. The kind of companies that are writing that are not nationwide, and all the other commercials you see. They're these kind of like smaller companies that you just don't even know how to search for them. So what I tell everyone is go to one of your local agents who represents, they're like a broker. Mm-hmm. They represent a whole bunch of different companies that you never even heard the name of. All my insurance companies, never heard the name of them. And there was no way I was going to be able to find them. So she was referred to me by someone. So I lucked out. I went to her and she's like, yes, I know 5 companies I can go send this out to. This company won't do tents. This company doesn't do vehicles, but they do tents. So then they just find all these insurances for you and give it to you. Workers' comp is a little bit harder. Most states have a workers' comp program until you've been in business long enough. So workers' comp, like for New York, I'm with the New York State Insurance Fund because any other workers' comp private insurance would have been really expensive. But you don't have to waste your time trying to find insurance. Let these professionals do it for you. Now you may go to your first agent and she may not know anything about tents, or she or he may not know anything. So then you'll go to the second one. You'll eventually find an agent who can get you what you need. And even if they don't know anything about it, at least they'll be able to contact the ones that they work with and be like, hey, do you guys rent tents? And they can put it together for you.
Okay. Insurance brokers. Cool. You said that somewhere else.
Yeah, I've said it a few times. I've made too many videos to know what's going on. But we got something. This is Casey, everyone, by the way. Farm Bureau was his first few years. And then we got another question is how much is insurance for the tents for a year? So it depends. they're either going to rate you on certain things. They're either going to rate you by each item you own. They're going to rate you by how much you plan on making. And then there's other various factors. The company that she put me with is just very easy. They don't care how many tables and chairs and tents I own. They don't care how much stuff goes out. All they care is about how much I made, and then they rate me on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pulling other questions too. Everyone, so one of our main questions is, what were some key things you're glad you knew, and what were some things that you learned? So anyone who's got that, put that down. Surprise expenses. What are your surprise expenses? And then I'm going to elaborate more on just regular expenses. So we got storage, we got transportation, we got employees, tools. That was an unexpected one. Like you could spend $20,000 in tools in 1 year and be like, whoa, Jesus. Cleaning supplies. You won't believe how much cleaning supplies you go through. Ladders. Everyone, any expenses that I'm missing? But yeah, we got through all your questions. So now, do you have any other?
I'm working on the financial part. So those are the general expenses. So that can go there. What is a roundabout that you make a year? Let's say, what was a roundabout number that you made your first year, and what's a roundabout number that you made now?
Okay, so my first year was somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000, but I only owned 3 tents, nothing under it. So I was hustling like crazy. I would set up a tent for a Friday party, take it down, set it up for Saturday, take it down, set it up for, Sunday. Ran into some trouble here and there, timing wise on that. Then as I grew, it just like the year I quit my job, I made 80,000 with like 6 20 wides and 1 40 by 80 and the stuff to go under them. And then every year it just went up and up. A few years ago, right before COVID, we just crossed 500,000. I think we were at 520. Okay. Then COVID hit and we were like in the low 4s. But interestingly enough, it was the most profitable year because there was less expenses, less employees. Right. So didn't buy anything that year. So then this past year, we're not done with it. Like, I think we are. I think we turned in the taxes today. It's somewhere around 640.
Okay.
Gross, not net, obviously.
40 gross. Okay.
Yeah, so everyone's kind of reiterating storage and transportation, fuel. Accounting. Accounting and payroll can be a surprise as well. So at the end of the year, you got to go to. I suggest you go to a CPA, and you're paying for that service, and you didn't really realize. Oh, advertising. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. So I don't advertise that much. I just pay for Google AdWords.
Yeah.
So I suggest that's where you start too. Google AdWords. This is not like a restaurant or bar or store. You're trying to get people to come to you. You're just like saying, "Hey, I'm here. I'm interesting. Come to our business." Party rentals, you're not going to get someone by advertising how cool you are. Mm-hmm. That's more building your brand. You're going to get someone because they need a tent, table, chair, so they search for it. So you want to spend your dollars on search so that when they search for you, they see you and then they call you. If you want to build a brand so that your company is known as like reliable, clean, or whatever, then you can do other kind of advertising, but it can be more like Facebook, Instagram kind of stuff, where you don't really have to pay. Oh, we got one right here. Website. That's an unexpected or expected expense. You can start out with like Squarespace though.
Because I'm noticing the websites for the companies that may be local, they're kind of dated.
Yeah.
or they just don't really make sense. Um, so that was another avenue to try to pinpoint being
Yeah.
local.
Get a better looking website, one that
Right.
works on mobile.
Yeah.
I get yelled at by this one guy who's really big into uh, Google and websites. Is Jim from recipe.com. He helps party rental companies get started.
Mhm.
He yells at me all the time because my website is not mobile. It was built before mobile was like the thing. It doesn't look dated. It looks nice and classy, but it's not mobile.
Now, what year did you start?
Right when I graduated college, which I was trying to figure out last night, was 22 or 23.
Okay.
But it was not a legitimate company for a few years. It was cash in hand kind of thing.
Mhm.
Oh, here's a big one that I wish I knew when I began, a lesson I learned. So I was charging $100 less on every tent. And then I had a conversation with my friend, and he's like, "You're just leaving money on the table. Go back and add $100 to every tent and see how much you missed out on. You could be $5 less than the competition, and a lot of people will go with you over. So don't discount yourself too much, thinking you're going to be getting business in. That's just you leaving money on the table."
I'm sorry, my dog.
That's
Got
okay.
he got the zoomies, and he's just hitting everything in his path. Don't discount yourself. That's good. What was the question? I forgot what the question was.
I don't know. I went off on it. And everyone's saying something about Facebook. I know you're still in school, but I would come up with a name right now.
I did.
Oh,
I
you
did come
Okay.
up with a name and a logo.
Did
Well,
you
it's a
make a
very
face? Did you make
not
a
yet.
Facebook Google My Business page?
Not yet.
You
Not
should.
yet.
And then if people call for next week, you just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're not launching until whenever you're getting your equipment in or whatever." Because like people plan events in advance, so
Yeah.
you don't want to just do all that. The week before you're getting everything, you want to do it knowing when you're getting everything and accepting dates for beyond that. Maybe leave yourself a 2-week cushion too, because shipping's a little weird. And so you want to be on Google My Business as soon as possible, because the sooner you're on there, the sooner you'll start ranking on there.
Business. Request photos from your renters.
Yeah, so in the beginning, you can just go to my website and use my photos, but a lot of us just use photos from the internet, and then as we get them, then we replace them, because it's hard to have photos.
Yeah.
VIP rentals will do that kind of stuff in a different one. This is more to help her right now. So off here, just message me and I'll send you some companies to get quotes for tents from. There's one not too far from you, Tent Renter Supply. I think Selena Tents is somewhere down there too. So there's some that you can save on shipping if you can get out there. Florida, Georgia, I think there's a company. But yeah, I'll try to find you places that are close, so you don't have to pay the exorbitant shipping fees.
Shipping fees, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Google AdWords at all?
I am not. I remember I saw a video that you mentioned it, but
Okay, just watch some YouTube videos on it. Like, it's actually pretty easy. It's a little daunting when you first look at it. There we go. There's Economy Tents in Miami. Tent Renter Supplies somewhere in Florida. So yeah, I'll send you things close to you. Selena is not near you. Selena is in Ohio. But there's also some table and chair companies near you, which you have to make a decision. Plastic is cheaper. You could go get plastic from Costco, from Lowe's, from whatever. But they don't hold up. The wood tables, when you buy good wood tables, they can last 20, 30 years.
right.
So if you're going for the long haul, I would go the more expensive up front because they're gonna last. I made a mistake once. Like I did, but they were wood tables, but they were like $50 less than the company I normally went with.
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right, this is cool. Well, I get them in, they look fine. But the first time that they get even a little bit wet, even just from dew in the morning, it was just a thin veneer and it just starts peeling up and cracking.
Mhm.
And those tables were junk real fast. Sure, I made a saved $40 per table at one point, but I ended up having to buy other tables. So there are a lot of companies that when they start out, they do start with plastic, and that's definitely okay for like a backyard party. As those tables go on and you put them inside of a venue, even though they have linens on them, you know, they're just kind of shaky. They're not that great. Like,
yeah, the quality isn't as good.
Yeah. And that's what happens a lot. I never ran into that because I worked for companies. So I just bought what they bought, and they bought Palmer Snyder stuff. So I was like, well, Palmer Snyder is the only place that sells tables and chairs. So I bought that stuff, and it worked out because that's the good stuff. If I didn't know that, I probably would have ended up buying some junk, and then 3 years later had to replace all the junk, which is not good for profit. Even the short term, you're thinking I'm saving money, but in the long term, you're not.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think those are all my questions.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So when you go back to watch this, there is live comments. I don't know how to turn it on, but you'll be able to see like a lot of people were saying some good things that I didn't throw up.
Yeah.
And then, so are you going to use this video at all in your presentation, or
I'll definitely send it to our professor.
Right.
Okay. By the way. But yeah, I'll mention it for sure.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, if you have any follow-up questions, just you got my email. Just send them to me, and I'll work on getting you a list of some suppliers that are closer to you. I'll give you all the suppliers, and I'll tell you which ones are close to you.
Okay.
For tents, for tables and chairs, I'm just going to tell you Palmer Snyder.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you get an A on your paper, and I keep calling it a paper. What is a capstone?
It's basically the big thing you do before you graduate.
Okay. Well, I hope you get an A on it.
Thank you.
And then you start your business, and it's successful from day one.
Yes.
It's hard not to make money in this business. Like, you got to be really dumb to not make any money. It just takes time, effort, and it does take sacrifice. Like, for the first few years, whatever your hobby is, you're just probably not going to do it for a while or whatever. So, and just the main thing is putting your money back in. Because what are you going to be? You're going to be 24, 25 when this happens?
28.
28. Okay. All right. Well, so one weekend you got $3,000 in your pocket. You know, some customer paid, a bunch of customers paid with cash or whatever. It's really easy to be like, I'm going to go out and have fun. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy this that I wanted. It's really easy. But if you put it back in, somewhere down the line, you just wake up one day and you're like, I have no money issues. And for this foreseeable future, I will never have any money issues. And I can literally buy anything that I want if I wanted to. But if you just partied with that money or whatever, bought things with that money, you're never going to get there. Right. It's just an insane thing. You don't even realize it. You're just going, putting money in, working. And then just one day you're just like, wow, it happened. This is crazy. It just happens one day. Only if you keep putting the money back in.
Put money back into the business. Good.
But someone did say it up way further. Pay yourself so that you can live.
What did you start with paying yourself, and what was the number then?
I don't even pay myself to this day. I just take the profits out. So
okay.
but basically I just took out enough to, back in the beginning, was make sure I paid my mortgage and all the bills. My ex-wife was very good at Excel. She had everything that was my responsibility. So I just had to make sure that I saved that up. And usually I would do that right in the beginning of the season, right in June, like when it's big graduation time. I just saved up the entirety that I would need for that year in order to not lose the house and everything, just to make sure we covered every bill. And then from then on out was like, all right, this money goes back into business. This money goes to me, which at that time was not much.
Right.
Even at this time is not much either, because I'm paying myself maybe 150,000 a year right now, but I don't consider it paying myself because most of it goes into retirement.
Smart.
Yeah, I want to retire soon.
Smart.
All right.
The last question,
Okay, go
I
ahead.
remember what it was. When did you start?
Oh yeah, so right out of college, 22, 23.
Okay, what year was that?
2005, 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it didn't get really big until it got big in 2008,
2000.
right when financial crisis happened. I quit my job, bought a house, and took the company full time. So it was kind of a crazy time to do it, but it all worked out.
Yeah, it definitely did. Good stuff. Okay, that was my last question.
All right. Awesome. Everyone, thank you for coming on, answer questions, and should go back and look at the ones that I missed. Thank you, made me smile, for sending the tip, and thank you for coming on. You wrote me, and I was like, "Hey, want to do this live?" And you were like, "Okay." Not a lot of people would say yes, so thank you.
I'm always down for an adventure. I really appreciate it.
Cool. All right, no problem. We'll be in contact. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, have a good night.
You too.